Next, we'll watch a video about Luritorco, filmed in Capilla del Monte. You'll watch and listen to the video as I did, then I'll share my thoughts. Why I decided to include it and what I think about it. Sometimes UFOs are seen in videos from mountainous areas. I'll tell you about it. My position and why I shared this video, what caught my attention, and why I brought it today. I think I repeated it like 4 times, but it doesn't matter, it's clear now. Well, let's go with the video. And then I'll tell you a little bit about the context of this whole situation.
There are 4.
Look, aren't they...
3?
There it is.
Aiming again!
Hugs to Quilmes. I noticed at least 2 people here are from there. There are 477 of us, almost 500 people. That's wild. I'm so happy. Alright friends, let me tell you. If I'm wrong, people from Capilla can correct me, but this is just to give you an idea of the area. From Capilla del Monte Center on Techada Street, there's a street that takes you relatively straight out to the base of Cerro Uritorco. From there, there's a campground. It's the La Toma Resort has been around as long as I can remember. It's always been there. There's a parking lot just before the resort. A small bridge that takes you across to the house where the entrance to the trail is. The one you take to climb Cerro Uritorco. From what I know and what the person who filmed this told me, they were in Capilla, it was nighttime, and they had just finished dinner. They went to what would be the entrance to the base of Cerro Uritorco because they had heard there were night outings, night ascents to Uritorco. They do happen. I think they're usually arranged with a travel agency or a guide because I don't think they do them just anytime. When they went, everything was closed and no one was there. Obviously, nobody attended to them at the house. They stayed for a while, looking at the sky, which was still quite dark despite some lights. And at one point, they started to see these lights. And that's what caught my attention. They didn't appear on Cerro Uritorco itself, because if these lights had been seen on Cerro Uritorco itself, I could say, or I would assume, that maybe it's some group that went out with headlamps or handheld flashlights. And those lights could be there on the trail, on one of the trails, which is very common to happen. Many times they send me things like that. That's why I wanted to explain this to you. That many times they send me things. Videos of Cerro Uritorco, mostly shot from afar, show small lights on the hill appearing and disappearing. I'm convinced that most of the time it's people trekking or out at night. But in this case, just to give you some context, and they were standing in the parking lot and the house was right in front of them. The path that goes out leaves directly from the house and goes to the left. At first it rises slightly, passes the main hill, then turns left and begins winding, obviously along all the slopes of the hill, up to the resting spots that are there, and finally up to the ascent, up to the summit. Sorry, this happened to the left of the house, quite far to the left. I think there's a small path that goes out, but I don't recall its name. Yes. They make a trail. It comes out of the Quinodos. It's not from the Quinodos, but, well, from the Quinteros or the Quinteros. I don't recall the trail, but it goes far left. In that spot where they reportedly saw the lights, there's no trail at all, except for one connecting to the small trail I mentioned. But it's a low trail that goes along the edge. The Calabalomba River, which is the river down there, is the river that, let's say, divides the area and has the little bridge to cross. Therefore, where they saw the lights, there is no trail at all. And it would be kind of strange for there to be a person there at that time, at that hour. One person, not 3 or 4. And besides, the lights weren't just moving sideways. They were moving sideways and also up and down. Anyone who's trekked mountains, especially the Uritorco, knows how difficult it is. With the mountain and dense vegetation, it's nearly impossible for the lights to move like that. That's why I'm bringing you this video, so you can watch it, so you can deliberate. I gave you some context about what I know. Everything I'm telling you is based on what the person told me. We weren't there at that moment. Let's move on to the next case. The next case is a photo, actually several photos. I'm gonna tell you the context of this photo first so you know what it's about. The person in the photo didn't know they'd be on YouTube, so their face is blurred. Precisely because we don't want to offend anyone. However, the relative who gave me the photo allowed me to publish it this way. This guy alone in the house took these photos of himself. After this photo, which you'll see, they realized it during review. Sometime later, this guy started having problems that were labeled as psychiatric issues. A relative told me, as did the person who gave me the photo, about what happened after that picture was taken. He went crazy. Basically, that was the phrase he used. And here you'll see the photos that appear. There are two. There were 4 photos. I decided to publish only 2. They were all taken in the same place, not at different times. They were all taken at the same location. You'll see something unusual. Nothing appears in this one, but in the next, taken seconds later, something shows up in the back. You'll tell me what it is. It looks like a woman, maybe because of the hair. But it could just be a man with long hair. The size doesn't match. I checked this photo, guys, in every possible way, and to me, it's not edited. The person who sent it to me didn't edit it, and neither did I. Everything I'm showing you, and sure, it's not, for example, intentional or a joke. What we don't know is what happened in that house before this situation occurred. If they did something strange, played with something unusual, or if the family or the boy got involved in something weird. The thing is that it was already known that strange things were happening, and after this, according to her, the boy was left crazy. So there's not much more to clarify, it's simply about drawing whatever conclusions you think. Is it a goblin? Well, it could be a goblin. I see it more because of the size. Well, even though it doesn't look like the size of an adult person, it seems a bit smaller, but it's strange. When I first saw the photo, I immediately thought it was edited, since people often send me badly retouched pictures. And can you tell when it's edited? Or you just glance and know? In this case, I checked it anyway, and no, at least from my point of view. Honestly, for me, no. Now what we're going to see is the case of a security guard. You'll first hear audio, then see the video exactly as I received it. The audio briefly describes how the whole situation happened, and in the video you'll hear him explain what he saw and what happened. And afterwards, I'm going to share my point of view about this video, about what I think on this topic, and you can tell me what you think. And before we move on to the video, 710 people and only 154 likes is true, guys. Hit the like button. Still, there are a lot of people watching on television, I get that. So later, when it's over, please leave a like. It really helps a lot. A comment. All of that helps the video keep getting recommended. If YouTube recommends it, because I have a suspicion that it doesn't. But anyway, let's move on to the case.
I do security at a company in Buenos Aires. For privacy, I won't share my name or the company, but I've worked here a long time. It was exactly 8 o'clock at night. While watching the backyard camera, I suddenly saw a light moving in all directions, and the base and several sides. I saw someone had jumped inside, even though it's impossible, but, well, I thought someone had jumped inside and was shining a flashlight. I was about to call the police when I zoomed in on the camera image to look to the sides, and there was no one there. Look at this light that moves in all directions. In the back part of the company, where the gate is all the way in the back, where the kitchen is, the women's bathroom, it sometimes has a smaller light that circles around it. See? Is it playing with another smaller light? Watch how it spins side to side.
Alright. This is a controversial topic for me, so I'll share my perspective. As soon as I watched this video, the first thing I said was it's a spider web, an insect that's close to the camera lens. That's what's causing the weird effect, which sometimes looks like a beam of light, possibly just a reflection or something similar. In fact, I have my view on orbs. They are, at least 90 to 95% of the time for me, they are particles that are close to the lens or reflections that simply cause that reflective effect that simulates an orb. Not every time, but most of the time, yes. In this case, the first thing I thought was that it's a spider web. But talking to this guy, what he told me is that the lens was clean because they checked it. And besides, that particle, or what we're seeing, has that movement because he filmed it directly from the monitor where they control the whole factory. He says that even after confirming the lens was clean, it sometimes appeared and sometimes didn't. Sometimes it made a similar movement, sometimes it changed. If the lens is clean, shouldn't the same thing appear at different times? For example, I clean the lens, but it gets dirty again within 2 hours. That would be pretty strange, especially if it's a spider web that you can almost see with the naked eye. That's why I brought it to you. I still honestly suspect that it could be some kind of insect or something on the camera lens that maybe wasn't seen. But obviously the door is open for anything that can be revealed. Because, like I said, what makes me doubt is that if you check the lens and it's clean, or you even clean it, it's strange that afterwards, hours later, or half an hour, or a few minutes, or even the next day, exactly the same thing appears. And only on that camera? In the other cameras, this one didn't show up. Other things appeared, there were others. This happened there. I'll share my honest point of view and leave it at that. I'm unsure if it's really paranormal or not. An insect. Or a spider web. I was leaning more toward a spider web. But well, of course, everyone is free to have their own opinion. With all due respect, if I haven't done it, let's move to the next video, friends. It's split in two, so let's listen. On one hand, Gabriel's case is quite complex because a video about him came out a long time ago on the channel, and he still has complications where he's currently living. He lives alone. That's a detail I have to point out to you. He lives alone. Let's listen to an audio with a clear electronic voice phenomenon. There are several, but this one is among the clearest. Does he live alone? While all this happened, he also took a series of photos. Those photos have something too. I'll start by playing Gabriel's electronic voice phenomenon audio, then we'll look at the photos. And I'm also going to tell you my point of view because today I want to share my perspectives. That's how I feel today, so let's listen to the audio first and then I'll share my thoughts.
Now I'm going to send you another audio where I was talking to my girlfriend, where you can hear another voice. She also pointed it out to me, telling me you can clearly hear a voice that's not yours. Hi, love. Well, I'm here at home, alone. I was just finishing up organizing things a bit, so I'll go pick you up soon. We'll come and eat something. I was just finishing up organizing things a bit, so yeah. A bit of organizing things. That's how he wants it.
In the audio, I hope you heard it. If you didn't, play it again later, because you can clearly hear that electronic voice phenomenon. There are others that can be heard, but they're very, very, very unclear, so it's harder to show them here live because they could show you minutes and minutes of audio, and you'd have to be glued to your headphones to be able to catch anything. It was very clear in this case, which is why I wanted to show you. These electronic voice phenomenon recordings were collected over time. He took this photo and lives alone. He took it during those moments when he was hearing strange things, when he was feeling weird things, and he took this photo. If you analyze the image a little and start to look at it closely, does something appear? Now he's going to appear. Director, please send it to me. The photo should appear now. Wait, because it's made like a video, so it plays by itself. We see there in the doorway that there's a little person, and here we go to the... As they said, Andres is reflective. When Gabriel sent me this photo, here's what I did first. I first said, he's messing with me. Because I said it's a kid peeking out. And it's just a photo, like to say, well, yeah. From then on, I was also suspicious of the electronic voice phenomenon. Looking closer at the photo, you can see the boy if you haven't noticed him yet. I'm being completely honest with you about what I thought at the time and what happened afterward. At that moment, later I did a bit. I adjusted the colors a bit, enhanced the image a little and everything, and I got to emphasize the boy's image more. Or whatever it is. And there I find two things that it will say if it's correct. First, it has a black eye. So a kid shouldn't have it, or it shouldn't look that way. Well, apparently it's open. I see the lower eye as white, though it doesn't seem truly white to me, but it does something. That reflection that felines, cats have when you shine a light on them in the dark, or the animals that live in the wild, the ones that are nocturnal, do they have that layer that reflects light to give them better night vision? Humans don't have that. So that reflection that happened there is what made me bring you this image. Those two things, the eyes, are what stood out to me. Leaving aside, obviously, that Gabriel swears up and down that he lives alone, that all of this that's happening to him is not a joke. Many things happened to him that weren't shown on the channel. Enough for 5 full videos. And he really had a hard time. There are episodes that are very tough, very complicated, and that still haven't even come out on the channel. But well, you guys will decide. I'm just sharing my opinion about what I thought at first, what I thought later after analyzing the photo, and what I think nowadays. That's really odd. I trust Gabriel because he doesn't seem like a liar, and we've already had a thorough talk with him. So I hope you all, let's see, come to your own conclusions. Let's move on to the reservation of Lomas de Zamora. This reserve is the Santa Catalina Reserve. It's a pretty large reserve. Someone sent me this video. I added it yesterday or the day before. I went alone and filmed a short video myself. There's a person, he told me, there's a woman passing by on the side who is not a ghost. It's nothing strange, she was there, but she was far away. It doesn't relate to what happened, the video, or what you'll hear, since it's an electronic voice phenomenon. He told me no one was near me, I was completely alone, and something was heard that I filtered myself. There are other sounds that can be heard, but the most noticeable one, just like in the previous one, is what you're about to hear.
Subscribe.
Well, I think it's very clear. I don't know what that is. It looks like a wooden totem or carving, but I have no idea. What I can tell you about this place is that beyond being an ecological reserve, there were other things that happened here. Many people come here to exercise, drink mate, and have fun. Events occurred here. Look it up. There are news stories and multiple murders in this place. Many people also come here as elsewhere to perform witchcraft, leave offerings, and cast spells. So I don't know if all of that is affecting the area in some way. And these kinds of things tend to happen. A woman's laughter is audible. I didn't see much sense in it. It's not an added sound, it's a sound that's in the video itself. It's not the woman in the distance, the sound is too close to the microphone to be her. You can see the person in orange going that way, they're heading in a different direction. It felt odd to me, and the laughter sounded strange too. That's why I brought it today. It's a short case that was added recently. Let's move on. Now let's go to the Chacarita Cemetery. This video was given to me by a police officer from the Federal Police who works inside the Chacarita Cemetery. And he told me, not only this, but there are many other things that happen. Almost everyone who works in there, from caretakers to employees who do different administrative tasks, the federal police personnel themselves who are stationed there, almost all of them have experienced paranormal events. Don't they? The police mainly are not allowed or don't have permission to talk about it freely. But definitely this video you're about to see was filmed by a caretaker, a night caretaker, someone who was working inside the cemetery during the night shift. There are many videos like this. This is one he sent me, but there are several. And you can see something in them. Very clear. I'm almost 100% sure it's not edited, it's not faked, so I hope you watch it and tell me what you think. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I hope you were able to see it, of course. No, they're not cats. That's the first thing. They don't look like cats at all. They look more like some kind of smoke or shadow. Something pretty strange. It's not a cat. Later, I invite you, if you want to watch it with zoom, take a closer look. They're not cats. Not at all. No way. This was filmed at the back of the cemetery, either facing the British cemetery or the side street. But really, this is one of the most impactful cemetery videos I've seen lately. What about me? I don't see anything edited or unusual. Well, everything is strange, but it's not edited. That's what I mean. The niches in that back area are the most neglected ones in La Chacarita Cemetery. The niches of the underground galleries are completely abandoned, but the ones in the back are usually totally abandoned. But they're not totally abandoned anymore. Are the bones practically exposed, or are there not even any bones left? Many people who practice witchcraft, black magic, and the occult, it's messed up. They visit those places to search for things and make offerings. So it's common to find different things in those corners of the cemetery. It would have ended here. But yesterday I got some photos of where they were taken. In Lomas de Zamora, a husband and wife took them in the central plaza, I believe. They took some photos, several little photos. There were like 5 or 6 photos, but only 3 will be shown. They're all taken more or less in the same place. And something really attention-grabbing shows up. It caught her attention. They swear that they didn't notice it at the time, only much later. Looking at old photos, you might say, oh, look, we were here. Then they ask, what's this? What happened? Well, did something catch their attention there? And you're going to see it right now. It's an ordinary photo. There's absolutely nothing strange about it. In fact, at the bottom right, you can actually see it there, under her elbow. I think it's the face mask, or what he's holding. And now they're going to pass. Hey, alright. Now let's move on to another photo. I'm going to pause it. In this photo, it's still in the same place. There's absolutely nothing at all, nothing strange. Now let's check this last photo, where something unusual appears. What's unusual here? When I saw it, nothing seemed unusual. I'll give my point of view again. She tells me about that hand. That hand shouldn't be there. She didn't feel that hand. The husband didn't grab her by the head. In fact, she tells me, that hand isn't my husband's. Because the nails look dirty, kind of thick. It's a hand that doesn't even look like it belongs to an adult. And she says, it wasn't his. He never grabbed me by the head. And if we analyze it a little more closely, I'm going to pause on this photo for you. It's a bit strange that the boyfriend is holding her head. I'm not sure if he's making bunny ears or another sign. Let's say it could happen, I'll give you that. But the way he's holding her like that is kind of weird. Second, what stood out to me is if we assume it was him. That gap, that little triangle we see between the two of them where their shoulders are, his shoulder. If he had his hand raised, would this shoulder do this? So inevitably you would see a line there covering part of that triangle. So it would give the whole impression that... Let's see if we can get it out. There it is. It would seem that hand isn't his. Again, we have to stick with what she tells me, with the testimony that she swears. They swear that no, that hand shouldn't be there. So, and in fact, like I said, if we look at it a little closer, it looks kind of blurry. The hand, I'll show it to you so you can see it in a bit more detail. Let's play it there. It clearly looks like a larger person's hand. The nails are a bit thicker, they even look dirty, so it's kind of weird. She gave me permission to publish it, and of course, so that not only the case becomes known, but also so that all of you can give your opinion as well, to find out what it could have been. Because they have no idea. 11, 27, 65, 49, 81 represent experiences. Yeah, you can send it to me in audio format. It doesn't matter how many audios you send. Send everything you want, photos, videos, anything you want. I'll check everything later as soon as I can. And if I have any questions, I'll write to you. And for those who still don't know or are interested, if you want, here you have the number of the channel store where you can request the catalog. There's the number you request the catalog there. And you'll have the catalog, the prices, and the shipping methods. There are many designs. I showed a few, but there are plenty more, all really cool and high quality. I've worked with all kinds of fabrics for a long time. What matters is their quality. Buyers know they're good. So, and also there's Mate now, there's Mate, Little Mate. Now for Nervous's Little Mate, there's the Little Mate of Terror, it's available. So whenever you want, you can ask for the catalog there, no obligation. Thank you for being here. See you today. What day is it? Saturday. See you on Wednesday. On Wednesday, there's a case coming up that you can't miss. Because today I was just preparing that case. It's tremendous. Not just the case that came up, but also its connection to other cemetery incidents. with people who did both very bad and very good things, so you can't miss it. I can't say much, but it's worth it. I'll be waiting for you Wednesday at 10 p.m. with the new case. Thank you, friends. Sending a big hug to all of you. Bye-bye.